My fear turns to 24, which looks at this stage, until we hear from DeSantis, to be Trump-Biden 2. Sadly, polls point that we'll get exactly the same result, because my view is that while 80 million people mightn't love Joe Biden, I'm pretty sure 80 million people don't like Donald Trump. So we're in this scenario where it's all going to go round again. I mean, essentially, the Democrats can do what they've done to the economy, can do what they've done to the cities, can do what they've done to the schools, but as long as they're not the orange man, they'll vote for this empty vessel of a bloke. And again, I just say this to people that are watching, and they might be Trump fans or they might be DeSantis fans. Biden would win if it's Trump versus Biden. Is that unfair?
Well, it's not unfair, and I say that as a Trump voter last time, and as you know, I still like Trump. I obviously love DeSantis as a Floridian here, and we'll see what DeSantis does. But I think there's an obvious truth that you're saying there, which is if we're to believe that the last election was legitimate, which if we're playing in this pool of reality, let's say that that is the case. Now, Donald Trump doesn't believe that, but let's just say that it was roughly legitimate. If Joe Biden got 81 million votes, which sounds crazy without campaigning and for all his flaws and everything, and Donald Trump got 75 million, who is the new Trump voter? Let's say you can get every single person who voted for Donald Trump to do it again.
Exactly.
Where is the new Trump voter? Who's the person? Is it either a young person who finally became of voting age, who suddenly says, boy, I do love Trump? Or is it someone that maybe is so disgusted by the Democrats they could go the other way? Maybe that exists, but the issue really is that we know that Donald Trump's, unfortunately, his negatives, I would argue somewhat unjustly, are extremely high. A certain amount of people who would be otherwise depressed to go out and vote for Joe Biden again because of all the reasons that we just laid out, on top of the bad policies and everything else, they will vote just as an anti-Trump vote. So I don't see it. To me, it seems like we know what the ceiling is with Trump, around 75 million votes. We don't know what the floor is, meaning people that have just, they're tired of it. You know, his supporters, some of them were older, right? So you're going to lose a little bit of that. I mean, Biden had some older ones too. But that seems to be the problem. And that also is why I think functionally why DeSantis is a better candidate, because with DeSantis, man, he can get all the crossover people, all those disaffected liberals, the angry Democrats after, all the lockdowns in blue states and things of that nature. And you just have to look in the numbers here. The guy DeSantis won his first election by 30,000 votes. 4 years later, he won by 1.6 million votes. That shows you that's not all Republicans. I brought 2 companies into Florida. Not all my employees are hardcore Republicans in that way, but they're all hardcore DeSantis supporters, and that tells you something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I always say this to super hardcore Trump people who go, that bumbling Biden, Easter Bunny, all the rest of it, that's why Trump will win. Show me the person in Arizona who's going to change their mind. Show me the person in Georgia. Show me the person in Pennsylvania. Show me the person in Wisconsin. Because he won all those in 16, he lost them all in 20, and all the indications are to be the same again, sadly, in 24. That said,
Paul, let me throw one other thing on that, which is, because I think people need to think of this too. The first time Trump came around, and it was Make America Great Again, and it felt, whether you like Trump or not or whatever, but there was this new feeling, there was this energy around it, the meme world, the online world, there was this crazy thing happening. And there was a positive energy to it. There was negative energy to it too, but there was certainly a funness to it, a jokiness, the way he could go on stage and extemporaneously talk for hours and all that. I think one of the problems that he's going to have now is that he's so lost in these ridiculous indictments, and there's another one coming out of Georgia soon enough, that really does change the message. It's one thing to say, make America great again and go, as they say, balls to the wall on that. But instead, if you're spending a lot of your time saying the system's corrupt, these people are trying to get me, the DA, it takes away a certain amount of the energy. And he's an energy guy. He's not necessarily a purely policy guy or a purely functional guy. He's an energy guy. And I think that's going to cost him a bit right there.